Welcome to another day with Ellie and Lucas. Today we are going to be talking a little bit about the grading system in Germany and what it's like going to school here. I've gotten to think about this more because I'm nearing the end of my university career, thank God. Can't wait to graduate. And yes, so it'll be a really cool video. Today we'll talk to you about what the equivalent of the grades are in the States. So we'll be comparing the two grading systems. I'll also talk about how Germans grade over here and how my work has been graded. And then we will talk about the language requirements and also what it is like in high school and how that affects your future college career.
So like Ellie said, our first point's going to be about the German grading scale overall. And we've actually talked about this in a previous video, like I think months ago a little bit, when we were doing a lot of our Wissen Wednesdays. We talked about the scale a little bit, we're going to go a little bit more in depth. So first off, like coming from America, we're very used to the A, B, C, D, F grading scale. There's no E. And so when we came here to find out that they do grades 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with like 0.3, 0.7 increments is like kind of different, but we still figured you can do like a 1-to-1 comparison. So all the ones are A's, so 1.0 is like an A plus or like the best A, 1.3 is like A minus or maybe just like A, and then 1.7 is A minus, and then 2 is B plus, and so on. You can keep going. And so we always thought that's like what it was, but like for me, working at the uni, my coworkers would always say how like they were disappointed to get a 2, and I never like understood that because I was always like, a B is pretty good. Like I was considered pretty smart back home, but like I didn't consider myself a genius, and I was happy with a B, like above average, looking good. So I was always very confused about this until we like found this like grading scale that like tells us how like a 1.0 is an A, and then a 1.3 is a B, and a 1.7 is a C. So in the US, a C is like average, like you're in the middle of the pack. And so to us, it's like crazy that a 1.7, only like 2 notches down from the best grade, is already average, and everything else below that, it's just like even less average.
Yeah.
I don't understand how you can have from 2 to 5 all basically being the US equivalent of below average. It's just a very weird system to me. But yeah, so that's like super interesting. I would love to like have people explain the concepts more in like the comments if you have deeper understandings of like the German grading system and why it's like that. It just seems very hard to get a top grade and very easy to get a low grade.
Hey everybody, so since making the video, I did some more research and found that the grading system is not exactly what we thought. So as you saw, we had the one paper which showed what we thought the correct grading conversion is, but according to some sites on the internet that I found, such as studyingingermany.org, it is not so restricted like we thought. So you'll see a scrolling image on the screen to show the other information. I don't know which one is more accurate, probably the one online, but just trying to be the most consistent. Have fun.
So when I graduated in the States, I graduated summa cum laude from my university. And I was really happy with that because I really tried really hard in all of my classes and I got great grades. I got like A's in all of my classes. I tried so hard though to get good grades and it really paid off. And then come here to Germany and like I expected that I wouldn't get as good of grades because I'm not a native German speaker. The first paper I got graded was in English and I got a 1.7 on it and I was like, oh okay, like an A minus, like it's fine, like, you know, it's not bad. I think it was worth more, but like it got worse and worse. I got a 4 on something which to me was like a D, and then I cried about it because I'd never gotten such a bad grade, and I just felt like something was wrong with me. Like I definitely was putting the same effort, if not more, into my studies here, and it was just to me crazy that I couldn't get anything higher than a 1.7. Recently, I did just get a 1 on a German exam, a German oral exam, and I'm super proud of that, but I practiced for like 8 days straight to memorize what I was going to say. and I think that definitely helped. But it's just crazy to me. It's not like I got stupider, you know, like my knowledge hasn't changed. It just,
It seems like maybe grading is more intense.
Yeah, like even in my English courses, I wasn't getting ones. Like I still don't have a 1 in my English course. I have a 1, 1, 3. And here I've actually realized that the Germans like a lot of terms, and it's kind of like dates for me, you know, like in history class, you know, I was freak out about having to memorize dates and like freak out about having to memorize terms. I'm not, like I can definitely explain it. I know what it means, but like it's...
But you're not big on using like vocab.
No. And I think also because I have 2 languages in my head now, and like the other one is definitely less significant or less good, I'm like in a mix of 2 worlds, and it's hard for me even in English to get the terms out. So I've never been that way, and it's just...
Yeah, it seems like what educators in Germany and like the standards of a German education are looking for are just kind of fundamentally different than in the US. Like you said, like vocab is kind of seemingly more important here. Here it may be vocab shows that you understand something, where in the US often,
it wouldn't be.
Even for me in chemistry, maybe you don't get full points because you don't know the word, but if you can explain it, at least you show you understand the concept, you understand what's happening.
But thankfully, I am at the end. I only have 3 papers to turn in and then write my master's, and then I'm good.
Woo!
Yeah, I'm so excited.
You've been working hard.
I have. I feel so burnt
You need a big vacation.
You realize I've been going to school ever since I was 6. I never took a year off, and I'm 27. That's 21 years of education.
Yeah, when me and Ellie met, she'd been in uni in the States for 2 years already. We graduated together. So,
you were a freshman.
So she was there for 6 years. Not because you're dumb though. She kept adding more things to learn. Going along with what Ellie said, we've also this is something that I've never heard of happening in the US, but maybe it does, and maybe we're like shielded from it because we're native US citizens. But in the US, and granted for me, I was in chemistry, so I didn't write a lot of like papers per se. Most of my papers had more math in them than they had words and diagrams. But I mean, Ellie had to, for education, write more actual papers, and you never felt like you were graded on your grammar, did you? Not often.
No, I mean like it sure was a part of it, but not like made me fail.
But not huge, yeah. And so like at least at her university, if there are so many grammatical mistakes, like grammatical German mistakes in a paper, they'll just stop reading the paper and just fail it, just purely off of the grammar. And I just find that like super duper interesting, because I would never imagine doing that, I guess, because for sure you're not like a native German speaker, but you have a C1 level, you got high scores in your DSH, and you're continuing to take C2 and German grammar courses. So it's not like you don't know how to speak. And so like she was really shocked to hear that having an excess of grammatical mistakes in a paper was like enough to just fail the paper regardless of what the contents of it were. I even know German friends who also would agree that like they've had papers where their grammar wasn't great, they messed up an article, they didn't use a preposition correctly, and so that must just be like insanely difficult to like pass papers sometimes because just grammar is enough to fail you. Or I guess in my opinion, I feel like maybe
the content should be more important.
Yes, we know. I feel like maybe like the grammar should definitely play a part. You shouldn't get a 1 because your grammar's off, but I don't think you should necessarily fail either. So maybe you shouldn't be able to get more than a 2. Like there's a threshold. Because obviously I understand you're not going to pass people who write at a 12-year-old's grammar level. That doesn't make sense either. But
yeah,
do you fail a genius in the field because they just can't properly write what they mean? That's just interesting. Again, this video is all up for debate, so comments. We'd love to talk to you guys more about it and hear like your opinions.
So actually, the day after Christmas, I got a message that I failed a paper. And then so I was working really hard and I had to redo it. But I failed it because I had like 15 mistakes in the first 3 pages. And if you have 15 mistakes, they'll fail you. Meanwhile, I had 2 of my German-born friends read it. Since then, I've learned that like, I don't know, I really need to go over it myself. There were things in there I don't know, that if I would have second read it myself after they had done it, I would have also caught some stuff. So it's just really intensive language, whereas like in the States, I don't even feel like there is such a rule. If you have 15 mistakes within the first 3 pages, like that's like 5 mistakes a page. That's like not that much.
Yeah, I don't think that's very much for like a full like college level essay, right? Because you're writing a lot on a page, and a grammar mistake could be as simple as messing up a comma, you know, or
yeah. And it depends. Like some of these things are subjective because they say you can put commas in lists. Like for English, you can say like Lucas, Jenny, comma, and I went here, you know, like Lucas, comma, Jenny, comma, and I. But that second comma is
it's
like
debated.
Yeah.
Like they teach you that you do or don't need it, even though I think in America most people would accept that you use it. But I know specifically British English does not use the comma, and I think, because I've even been told by German friends that they're taught not to use that comma. So when I was correcting a PhD thesis for one of my friends, I kept having to tell myself not to tell them to put in that comma because they didn't do it, but I knew that they prefer the British English method.
The last thing we wanted to get to also came up this weekend. I was talking to one of my friends and who's like a German here. She has a like cousin or niece that's going into the final grades in high school. And when you're in the final grades, you pick like 2 courses that you want to pick to be like heavily graded, or like this will be the focus of your grades. And the other ones are just like light. So like some of them will be more heavily weighted into your final grade is what I'm trying to say. So the student wants to be like a doctor. And the issue with that is like you would think then in high school you would pick like biology and chemistry for like your super like heavy intensive grades your final year. But the problem with that is it's not easy to get a good grade, and to get into medical school you need to have a 1. So the solution to this is to pick something that's really easy for your heavily weighted courses. Like, I don't know, in the States I would pick like art, but I don't think they have art for that type of thing here. Maybe like
Something that you feel confident
Yeah.
you're gonna like
succeed.
ace.
But not what you want to study in your future. And I just feel like that's so parallel. Like when I
So
study,
different.
yeah, like
Yeah, in the States, for like, at least for me, when I was younger, I always wanted to be a doctor. So I took every science class I could in school whenever I got the choice, even if it wasn't about medicine, biology, astronomy, like anything science, because I felt that was more important to becoming a doctor, which in my mind is all about science, than art history, right?
Yeah.
So, but
But
here they don't need to do that,
No.
per se. They probably even shouldn't if the class is too hard.
yeah, but so it's just crazy that like if you want to be a doctor, you should like you have to be like strategic about what courses you pick in high school to better your chances of getting into medical school.
Yeah, so there you go. Those are some of the things we've been thinking about in regards to like the German like grading system lately. For sure, a lot of it comes from like our experiences and opinions, right? So this could even be different in different parts of
Sure.
NRV, let alone Germany as a whole country, right? But yeah, we just want to talk about what we like think about it, and like see what you guys think too, and or see what all you think about like what we've experienced, maybe what it's like in your areas, because I think often we get some pretty cool comments about like how what we experience is very specific to where we live, or maybe we're just unlucky, I don't know. Yeah, so anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button below.
Because we're almost to 1,200 subscribers, which means 1,200, because I always would get that confused.
So we're closing in kind of on that 2,000 subscriber goal. We still got a ways to go, but we're also not even halfway through the year, so there's still time. And yeah, definitely leave some comments below. Tell us your thoughts about what we said, what you think about the German system itself. Yeah, and any
Goodbye.
other cool experiences you've had.
Mark.
Ellie's like a book nerd.
I'm not a book nerd, I'm like a knowledge nerd.
Okay,
I
at least
love
like a
knowing
knowledge
things.
nerd. I don't like to say Native Americans because it implies like the indigenous people. That's gonna get cut out.